The first mistake Karen made was underestimating me. The second was thinking she could control my home, my property, and my life. She thought she had power, but she had no idea who she was dealing with. And let me tell you this, she regretted it fast. When I bought my new home, I thought I had found paradise. A quiet neighborhood, a beautiful house, and finally, peace. After years of working long hours and saving every cent, this was my reward, my escape, my sanctuary. The first day I pulled into the driveway, I could already imagine family dinners on the porch, barbecues in the backyard, and quiet nights under the stars. But little did I know, my biggest nightmare was waiting right across the street. In the form of one nosy, power-hungry neighbor, Karen. She appeared almost instantly, not with a smile, not with a warm welcome, not even with a hello. No, she showed up with a clipboard, a sharp glare, and a list of demands. Around here, she said in a tone that dripped arrogance, we have rules. She rattled off restrictions about lawn height, mailbox colors, driveway usage, even the type of curtains I was allowed to hang. I let her finish, and then I asked a simple question, is there even an HOA here? That's when she smirked and said, of course there is. I'm in charge. Except there wasn't. The HOA in this neighborhood had dissolved years ago, after too many lawsuits and angry residents, but Karen wasn't ready to give up power. She declared herself president of a ghost organization and took it upon herself to enforce rules that no longer existed. At first, I brushed her off. I thought maybe she was just bored. Maybe this was her twisted version of entertainment. I figured if I ignored her, she'd eventually go away. But Karen wasn't just nosy, she was relentless. Within a week, I got my first letter. It was typed, stamped with a fake HOA logo, and claimed I owed annual dues. If I didn't pay, the letter warned, I would face penalties, liens, and possible seizure of property. I laughed it off, tossed it in the trash, and thought that would be the end of it. But I was wrong. The letters kept coming. Then came the notes, slipped under my door at night. Demands about my trash bins, my porch light, even the kind of car parked in my driveway. She knocked on my door, uninvited, shouting about violations. She even told me my American flag was not approved. It went from annoying to disturbing very quickly. And I wasn't the only one. As I talked to my neighbors, I discovered Karen had been terrorizing the entire block. An elderly couple had been threatened for planting roses instead of approved shrubs. A young family was harassed for letting their kids leave a bicycle in the yard. Everyone hated her, but everyone had been too afraid or too tired to stand up to her. That's when I decided enough was enough. I started keeping records. Every fake letter, every note, every conversation photographed, recorded, and stored. I even set up cameras around my property. And it didn't take long for me to catch her red-handed. One night, around 9 p.m., my cameras picked up motion in the backyard. I pulled up the feed, and there she was, Karen, sneaking onto my property with her phone, snapping pictures like some kind of wannabe inspector. The next morning, I confronted her. Step foot on my property again, I told her, and I'll have you arrested. She just laughed and said, you can't do anything. I'm the HOA president. That's when I realized she truly believed her own lies. But here's the thing, believing a lie doesn't make it true. The very next day, I went to City Hall with a thick folder of evidence. I laid out everything, the fake notices, the trespassing photos, the recordings. The officials were stunned. They told me Karen's actions weren't just annoying, they were illegal. Harassment, trespassing, mail fraud, impersonation of an HOA authority, it was all there. They promised me action. A week later, it happened. Karen marched up my driveway again, waving another one of her bogus letters. But this time, before she could even open her mouth, a patrol car pulled up. 2 officers stepped out, armed with the same folder of evidence I had given the city. They didn't waste time. They read her rights right there on my lawn as the neighborhood watched. The look on her face, the shock, the outrage, the disbelief, was priceless. She tried to argue, shouting about rules and authority, but the officers cut her off. They made it clear, there was no she was no president, and her little reign of terror was over. From that day forward, the neighborhood changed. People who had lived in fear of her nonsense finally felt free. The elderly couple planted their roses again. Kids left their bikes on the lawn without worry. And me, I finally got what I wanted when I moved here in the first place. Peace. Karen had tried to control me, to bully me into submission, to make me believe she had power. But in the end, all she did was expose her own arrogance. Because here's the truth. Bullies like her only win when no one stands up to them. The moment you fight back, their entire empire crumbles. So yes, Karen tried to control my home. She thought she could make my life miserable. She thought I'd cave to her fake authority. But instead, she got a lesson she'll never forget. She picked the wrong neighbor to mess with, and she regretted it fast.